Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to the podcast. Mic'd up with PK. And we keep on having very interesting guests. And my guest today is no other than John Chinode. I want to get something correct. What are your full names? Is it just those two?
Yeah, those two are actually my names.
Yeah.
But if you want to ask my full name,
Yeah.
in my language, the same is Iyapa Mtoto.
Yeah.
So I was born as Chinode Hama,
Yeah.
John Sengalumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then John Chinode came about because when I came to the UK, I was finding it hard for
people to pronounce them.
pronounce Chisengalumbo.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting work. And then at that time, my girlfriend that I was dating, I'm sure she's watching, girlfriend I was dating before she terminated the contract of the relationship,
Yeah.
told me that the reason you're having problems,
Yeah.
those days we were scared of police, immigration.
Yeah.
So she told me that, you know what, if you use Sengalumbo, they'll be asking you, they'll know you're African.
Yeah.
So if you want to be British, bit British, use John Chinode.
Yeah.
So that's how I started using John
I
Chinode.
get it. Oh, now you get.
I just started, because it was both my names. So I started using John Chinode.
Yeah.
Because I just thought I'd get away with, because that time, we were new in the country.
Yeah.
So, John Chinode was born in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people know me in Zambia as Chinode. People here still know me as Chinode.
Yeah.
So I get a bit of both. Both are my names.
Yeah.
It just depends on which one you want to use.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Nice. I don't know where those names would be from. Where did you grow up in Zambia?
Right. I grew up in Zambia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in Ndola. I was born in Ndola Central Hospital.
Oh, yeah? A lot of people were born in Ndola.
Yeah, Ndola was the cleanest town. Ndola Central Hospital was the cleanest hospital. I think Ndola was, the mining, obviously the colonial
mining
town. So town were developed. Yeah, so my mother was raised in Ndola, and my father was raised in Osaka, but my father had returned from Ireland for studies in the early 70s. So he was posted in Ndola.
Yeah.
I met my mother.
Yeah.
And had me there. So then I grew up in Lusaka. I moved to Lusaka at the age of 3 months old, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 3 months old. So I grew up in Lusaka, then came to the UK.
Yeah.
If you ask me those names, Chinode, Hama is a Zimbabwean name.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom is from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
My wife is from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
So that's why my granddad, who's my mom's dad, Chinode, they gave me that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then John, of course, is John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what schools did you go to in Lusaka?
That's a very good question. I like that question, actually, because I went to 5 schools.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because I was a social bully.
Yeah.
Some schools I was semi-expelled. You can ask me why if you want. Yeah, so I started off my education at Lake Road.
Yeah.
Lake Road, I'm sure you've heard of Lake Road.
PTA.
Yeah, Lake Road. Oh, no, before it was PTA. It was owned by an Irish family.
Oh, okay.
The McCormicks, they sold it to PTA and ZCCM.
Yeah.
So I went to Lake Road, and the reason I went there is because it was an Irish-owned school, and my father studied in Ireland.
Right, right.
There was always something about these schools.
Yeah.
I left Lake Road.
Yeah.
And went to Rhodes Park. And the reason I went to Rhodes Park as well is because there was a family that owned it. I think they still own it, the Follotiers.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Follotier and my mom grew up together. They went to boarding school together.
Yeah.
So my mom took me to that school.
Yeah.
Then at Rhodes Park as well, I was semi-expelled. Remember, there's being expelled and being semi-expelled.
Well, what does that? What's the difference?
Semi-expelled is you've caused so much trouble.
Yeah.
So your parents decide to remove you.
Also, it's like you have so many strikes.
Yeah, I've got so many strikes, so many trouble. Every day my parents are getting this.
Yeah.
They was making the whole class laugh.
Yeah.
They was doing this. They was doing this. So they'll take me out before I'm expelled because they were embarrassed. These were their personal friends.
Mm-hmm.
So they did the same at Rhodes Park.
Yeah.
And took me to Namununga because my father was in the legal profession.
Yeah.
So the man who owned Namununga, Mr. Ali Hamir.
Yeah.
He was my dad's friend. So they took me to Namununga.
Yeah.
Namununga as well. I was semi-expelled. Then I went to Kenisha Secondary School.
Yeah.
I think among the best 5 schools I've been to. Canisius will definitely be the best.
Yeah.
So then I went to Canisius as well. Canisius as well, I was technically expert. Then I found myself at Leopards Hill.
Yeah.
And then at Leopards Hill, I think I was somehow going to be semi-technically expelled, but then, of course, due to maybe my presence in sports at that time at
What sport were you playing?
football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why.
Were you good?
I wouldn't say I was good.
Were you semi-good?
I was semi-good, but my presence was there. I still play. I still try and keep fit. So it was just a passion. That I had, leading the school team. I was in the forefront. With my friends, Hambwalu, Mile, Luther Johnson, just to mention a few. So, so I ended up at Leopards. Then I came to the UK straight after high school.
Okay.
So, literally grown up here as an adult.
Yeah. Okay. And when did you get into like MCing or journalism? Because I know you've done both. Or when you got to the UK, what did you decide to pursue first?
Yeah, I think before I came to the UK, I was always going to be a journalist.
Yeah.
I think journalism was just something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I used to go and see people like Ponga Liwewe at the age of 15.
Yeah.
Telling Ponga I want to be a soccer analyst like yourself.
Yeah.
So I had that passion. Then Ponga would say, come to my office, because his office was near our house in Woodlands.
Yeah.
So I'd go and see people like Ponga. I went to see Masha Chilemena.
Yeah.
I went at the age of 18 to say I'd like to join media. And I walked all the way from Woodlands to mass media. That's what you call passion. And Masha Chilemena received me with Namakao Mkeleba, I remember, in the office. Yeah. And he gave me a 50 kwacha. To say on Sunday, go and watch Crosslands Division 3. Yeah. And then come back and tell me how this match. Yeah. So I still thank Masha Chilemena for that. So I came to the UK, and my sister asked me, as usual, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do journalism. Yeah. So I went to Bolton College. Yeah. Did media studies, because I didn't do my A-levels in Zambia. Yeah. So I did media studies. Then after that, because of financial constraints, I couldn't pay school fees. Yeah. And I was liking London. I was thinking, hey, school. Now actually I'm club. I need money. So I started working. I thought about college. Okay. Yeah, then if you talk of the MCing, how did it start? It's quite difficult. It's a difficult question for me, I think, that one, because
do you remember?
I didn't plan it. It's like being an MC. Yeah. I didn't plan that.
Okay. Do you remember the first sort of gig that you MC'd, for instance? Okay.
But you see, when I talk of MCing, it's something that, I'll give you an example. When I was at Canisius Secondary School, whenever there is football, I remember Zambia versus Tunisia 1989. Yeah. Right? Everybody at Canisius Secondary School is coming to my dormitory. Yeah. Because Chinode is the one who's going to give us the information of this game. Because
we'll deliver it in a more interesting way.
Internet. Okay. So I used to get hold of newspapers those days in Southern Province. Yeah. So I've already read, I know the lineup, and I'll be there standing and telling everybody. So Chinode, how is Zambia going to play today? I'll be saying, of course, we've got Tunisia, they've got a danger man called Limani, but don't worry, Zambia has Kabusha Warrior. We've got Effort Chabara in goals, we've got Eston Morenga, great performance. Doing things like that, and they're laughing, they're clapping. Yeah. Then I remember now moving to Lusaka, coming back to Lusaka. Yeah. I started drinking at this place called Paliwana Mulenga. It was something we used to call Wehem. Okay. Wine. I think DJ Blair or Oscar. This type of people.
They know. They can relate.
Yeah. At Wehem. So I was drinking wine. Then my friends, one of them is here. Yeah. Michael Shumba. Yeah. Dumi, Sani, and Chingand. Yeah. These were very good dancers. So we'll be drinking wine, and they'll be telling the people, hey, have you heard Chinode imitate Chiluba? So Chinode imitate Chiluba. Say, my fellow countrymen, to us here today, this is the most momentous occasion, I'd like to say this, that this country is in debris and run due to total enthusiasm, psychological dislocation. Come on, guys. So I'll start doing things like that. Yeah. Then everyone will start clapping. Why? Yeah. Landa ko Dennis Niwe. Zambia now in a slanter attack. Here comes Charles Musonda. He turns around the 360 degrees. Look at that incredible pass from Charles Musonda, like an air hostess.
Yeah.
Heathrow, trying to connect to Frankfurt. You know, I'd be talking like that, and people will be clapping.
Yeah.
Then somebody would say, Chinode,
Yeah.
you should be a stand-up comedian. Chinode, you should be a master of ceremony.
Yeah.
But then you know what? It's just fun. It's just part of you.
Yeah.
Then I moved to the UK.
Yeah.
I was working for a Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
Then I started impersonating my boss. He was a Greek boss.
Yeah.
I used to impersonate this man very well, but it was just fun. Then, you know, if I took of my first ever gig, maybe let me look at it from an African or Zambian perspective.
Yeah.
I think it was 2002 when the Olympics were happening. So the Zambian team came. They organized an event for them in Manchester.
Yeah. And
the organizers didn't have a presenter.
Yeah.
They didn't have somebody to host the event.
Yeah.
So there was a friend of mine, is now in Kitwe, Mr. Lazarus Mundoka.
Yeah.
Who suggested to everyone that ask Chinode. So me, I was outside.
Yeah.
And in Sapuchira, I'm talking to people. And they say, no, Chinode can MC. So they just put you on the spot. The event is about to start in 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Chinode, they say you can MC for this event. Really? Okay, 1 second. Give me some whiskey.
Yeah.
Tried some whiskey. Pick a pen and paper. This is just now thinking, well, how can I present? So I went to ask everybody in the audience, those who came from Zambia, participate for the Commonwealth. Some are boxers, Kanyanta. Yeah. There was this guy called Kennedy Kanyanta, very good boxer, gold. So I took their names. Then I said, hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, yeah, you know, they start making noise. Then, I said, how am I going to make this show interesting? Every name I'll read. If it's a Bemba name, I make a joke out of Bemba. If it's a Tonga name, I make a joke. If it's Lozi, he's from Mfurila, I'll ask where you're from. Mfurila, stand up. Hey, look at that girl, the way, what take Zambia? So I was doing stuff like that. People cheering. Then from there, I just started getting calls from my Zambian local people to say, hey, Chinode, come on, I'm having a small party. Can you come and do some jokes or, you know, present? I never took myself that serious. I think my turning point, if you ask me, was when I met a guy called Randolph and the late Steve Fly, who brought me to radio. I think those are the guys that really made me realize this could be commercial for me, because the fact that it was not in my comfort zone. These were just British people that have just supported me somewhere. So then before I knew it, I was an MC in a club. Then everyone wanted to, you know, like hire me those days in Manchester. Like, hey, JC, I want you to come and have my event. So I just think, you know, that's how my journey has been. I wouldn't really say I planned it. Oh, I started like this, then I did this. No, it was just like default, you know, like, wow, this is my nature. You know, I think those who went to school with me, like my sister Birungi, in Birungi Bagenda in Uganda, Betha Mwenso, Dr. Betha Mwenso, I call her in Liverpool, Jessica Tai, my classmates, you know me for, let's say maybe it's just been, you know, what you call a character. You know, it's just been part of my character. So that's my journalism and MC journey. But journalism was an intention. Okay, that is something I even told my dad, that, look, me, when I grow up, I want to be a journalist. But the journalist I wanted to be wasn't what I became, you know, TV broadcast. No, I wanted to be a writer. You know, I used to like reading the Daily Mail in Zambia those days, you know, the Times of Zambia.
You're a man of many talents. I asked you one question, and you went on. You've just shown me your other talents. Which other people can you impersonate, for instance?
Which other people can I impersonate? You know what? It just depends who I'm talking to. You know, I can impersonate my mother's language, you know. My Zimbabweans, you see, even me right now, where you can see me, I see my brother. Doesn't it pain you to see a black man on a black bicycle with a black bag behind his back? You know, you know, I think I just like, you know, impersonating anything. I
want to challenge you to do something. Because I think a person from Zimbabwe can never admit that the Victoria Falls belongs to Zambia. So I want you to do it, to agree that the Zim Falls, what am I saying now? That the Victoria Falls belongs to Zambia in a Zim accent.
You see, come on, let me even tell you something. You see, there's a time I even sent my rover. You see, I bought a rover here in England. You know, because these rovers we buy in South Africa, they're not as strong as the ones that we buy in England. So I bought one rover, and you see, I used to come to Zambia to sell Saraura. I know you Zambians, you like más Saraura. So when I came to Zambia one time, and you know what, come on, I said, let me go buy Doro in one of your lodges in Rivingston, Kumaramba. I think it's Maramba village. Then I realized, let me take a walk. First, I phoned my cousin Tendai. I said, Tendai, I'm going to Victoria Falls on the Zambian side. And then I realized that, when you make a comparison, in a Zim Force, na Zambian Victoria Falls, I think Zambian Victoria Falls in a genuine force. The Zim Force, Yaga Shaika. Yaga Shaika, Mkomana. I mean, even Baba Wango. Even Baba Wango, I've got a certain uncle called Baba 4 Penzi. His young brother is Baba 2 Penzi. Baba 4 Penzi and Baba 2 Penzi. Even then, they've been convinced now that the real Victoria Force is not actually in Hara. It's not on the Zim side, it's on the Zambian side.
Okay, thank you. Getting back to your journalism career, at some point you worked with Ben TV. Tell me how that came about and how was the experience there?
Ben TV was still a big experience. I'm still working for them. With Ben TV, so I was on the internet and I like to browse media stuff, like I'm sure you do as well. So I saw an advert, like a TV presenter in London for a breakfast show. So I sent my CV. That time, my CV, I only had experience working on radio, community radio. That was the African Caribbean FM station in Manchester. And then in London, I worked with Oscar Miranda, Soul 9 Radio, now the CEO. And DJ Milton was the old school expert DJ. So we saw Basement Crew Radio. So that's the experience I had. So I applied. Then, bang, 2 days later, I saw a response on the email to say, we would like to shortlist you for an interview with Ben TV. So I was so excited. Like, wow, I watched Ben TV. Wow. So I made sure, took my suit to the laundry, ironed it properly, crisp. So got to the studio and there was over 40 of us. So my audition came. They told me to pick any story from the papers and talk about it. And, I like football. I'm a sports journalist. That's what I call myself. So I chose football. And then the audition finished. Then Evelyn Obera, if she's watching, I love you, Evelyn. And Uche, my brother. So Evelyn started calling out names to say, right, not all of you have made it. That's how TV works. So if I'll speak to all of you individually. So he says, oh, the gentleman in the gray suit, can I talk to you? Meaning me. So me, I just said, well, I'm out. Because obviously she wants to tell me that you've done very well. And I was prepared for it. Like, the rejection is part of my life. So when I walked into the office, she sat me down, says, okay, hello, Chinode, are you the guy who was doing community radio? Listen, you are the main anchor. You are going to be the main anchor for the breakfast show. So you need to come in for a dress room, and you know what? In my body, I started dancing to Afrobeats, Zambian music, R&B at once. So it's a reggae, everything, doing everything together. That's how excited I was. So there you go. I got myself in Ben TV. I became friends with everyone there. And Uche, I must mention this, told me that when we were doing the audition with the boss, the moment I started talking, they were like, this is on. Guys, they just said, listen, this guy is the man. So I was very humble to that. So my journey with Ben TV was great. I interviewed some very top people there. Say to anyone trying to venture into TV, it's a very good, opportunity. It's a very big, take it. When you get TV opportunity, grab it with your own hands. You're going to meet people that you never thought you'd meet. And not in terms of commercial money, but just, having an audience with certain people. So I've worked with Ben TV and I also worked with Arise, the Sky channel.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big, just an equivalent of Ben TV. So Arise as well, they're based in central London.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of the premierships
Yeah.
of, let me just say, football analysts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's been more my journalism, career. And of course, I've studied, studied journalism.
Yeah.
But before I studied journalism, I always say I was already working
Mm-hmm.
as a journalist,
Mm-hmm.
because I say to people, you don't have to go to university
Yeah.
to become a journalist. You can go to uni later on, but journalism is something you just can do even without, and I say in clear English, you can do it without uni.
Yeah.
There's so many people I know, so many stories, so many journalists I've met
Yeah.
who maybe decided to study in future
Mm-hmm.
before, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of the current state of journalism in Zambia?
Good question. I think the current state of journalism in Zambia has improved.
Mm-hmm.
It's improved. I think.
When you say improved, in terms of what, the quality of reporting?
I think, to me, improvement is infrastructure.
Yeah.
Okay. Improvement is not presenters, because in presenters, even here, you get good and bad, or even reporters.
Yeah.
But I think from what I read, there's a bit of inroads that are being made in infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of modules that are being introduced. For example, the Zambia Sports College, run by Mr. Oscar Mwanga. So he's trying to engage journalists like me who are abroad, to draw programs that can train other sports journalists in Zambia.
Yeah.
But then again, I should say that everything has, you need to give feedback. That's what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing I've seen with Zambian journalism, which I think needs to maybe improve, is the fact that they in Zambia sometimes they say that they rush to release news. For example, Renford Kalab, the Zambian international. Yeah. He was involved in a very bad accident.
And was pronounced dead.
He was pronounced dead. Now, I want you to listen to this.
Yeah.
I work for So Online radio station.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm the training manager for So Online Radio UK.
Yeah.
And we at So Online Radio, we saw Renford Kalaba has died. So what we do as journalists, you go for your source of information. Our source of information was the Daily Mail Zambia. And that's a national newspaper in the government.
Yeah.
They put Kalaba is dead. So we saw online.
Yeah.
Daily Mail, there's no way they can lie. It's like ABC. It's like,
you can quote them.
You can quote them.
Yeah.
So online put Brentford Kalaba is dead. So many people were quoting Daily Mail.
Yeah.
So this is what I would say to journalists. Like, look, the training, maybe what we need to improve is to show journalists that, look, you don't have to rush. If it's something like happened to Kalaba, the person who needs to give you a report or a quote, whatever we're going to call it, is the doctor.
Yeah.
Okay? If it's criminal, it's the police. But then you find that people become the police, people become the doctors. I think that's the only area that I'll see that needs improvement. And then again, even these online publications that I read, they're all giving very good information. This is just feedback, guys. I'm not criticizing you. So you see, when you write an article, I'm going to write an article about Peter's podcast. I can't just be writing in my own language. I need to speak to people that actually have been here. Because you need at least 2 interviews in every call, in every report. And then I see in my, let's say, Zambia, that okay, some journalists or writers, they write in that area. Okay, but then overall, away from that, I just think we've made very good errands in terms of infrastructure, and then the fact that Zambian media now is spreading. You've got a radio station in the Copper Belt, in Southern Province, in Western Province. To me, I think that is the main development. And I think the next thing I think we need is just what Mr. Mwanga Oscar said, to improve on our modules. I just don't think it's journalism. I think even people like you have been to even in Home College, where it's the heart of media training in Zambia, University of Zambia as well. You can see that, look, it's something that we talk about in general, that we need to improve on our modules. And they do here. You see, like in this, they improve every, was it 10 years? Yeah, they try and improve on their modules.
Yeah. Instead of relying on the same information for a very long time.
Because you see, we can blame journalists that look at what they're doing. We're reporting. But you have to understand the modules they are learning from probably are those modules of yesterday. So to me, I think what you and me should be doing is, like I'm part of Zambia Sports College. That's going to start. So it's about you and me transfer of skills. For us, you and I to, try and engage. The media education centers in Zambia to say, look, if you talk about, one nation.
Okay. No, I get you. They need to verify information. In short.
Yes, I think it's very, but you see, you're in Umbrella that verify information. It's some training. It's when you go for training. That's when they teach you those things. But you cannot learn. Before I went for training, I didn't know you can't say certain things on radio. You can't say certain things on TV. You can end up in prison, okay, or you can get up being sued, okay, or you can ruin somebody's reputation. But you see, all those things, I was trained. It did come with common sense. So sometimes I would say, look, with our journalists, let's not criticize them. And I say it's not just Zambian, I'm talking of African and Caribbean journalists in general. Speak for these two continents. Let's not criticize them. You see, it's the modules. Sometimes they go through. Some of them are very intelligent. Okay, I watch a certain presenter in Zambia. What's her name again? She's very
what station?
I don't know if she's probably trained, but she's very good.
Okay.
The People's Bay, whatever she's called. She's called the
Edna.
Yes, is it Edna? Because she really showed chocolate. That youngster. Is a good presenter. Okay, so I'm just saying, like young people like that. You can see that she's got the character. Okay, she does has a program. But to me, I think she could be that newscaster tomorrow. Because of her. But you see, you have to give them the ammunition. Okay, so I'm just saying, like, there's people like that I see. I think there's quite a few presenters I see in Zambia. Okay, there's that young boy, is it Chimaka?
Chimweka.
Yes, I see a young boy like that. There's that girl, there was Talimwanza. I used to listen to Talimwanza as well. There are presenters in Zambia that, I don't know if you remember the late LBC. Yeah, so you see, like, there's like people like LBC, where you'd be wrong to be saying, no, Zambian journalists or presenters are not good. No. There were people like LBC who were what you call unknown, and seen off. You never see broadcast journalists like that, because he brought content. And this is what I would say, that look, our journalists, if they're given proper module training, they can bring a lot of good content. And that content is what is going to contribute, towards the development of the country. Recently we had these wrangles in FAS, in Football Association of Zambia. And, we couldn't get the accurate information as well abroad, because the boys are not given these modules to know
how to go about it.
Yes.
Okay. So you've always had an interest in football. You played football yourself, and at some point you helped set up the Zambia UK FC. So tell me about that. What was that about?
Zambia UK FC. I think I feel that, for example, this morning I was just reading my friend Marshall Go, who runs the Zimbabwe UK Football Club. Today he's just managed to get a Zimbabwean born here playing for Sheffield. This boy will now be playing for Zimbabwe. So I felt the same way that I'm seeing a lot of Zambian boys born here now. Got young Jidel Katongo with Man City. We've got Lusale Chisola, a young boy, Lusale, who's at Manchester United. We've got Chase Kapoto. At Fulham. We've got Wezi, a young boy called Wezi Ngulume in Derby. Okay. So we've got quite a few young Zambian boys coming through. And setting up Zambia UK FC was for that purpose, to try and bring them close to Zambia, to bring them home. So that when they turn 14, 15, 16, we can introduce them to the Zambian under 17.
Yeah.
So that they start learning the Zambian culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned these things from teams like Morocco. The reason Morocco reached the semi-finals of the World Cup because they have an eye now for the players born outside Morocco.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say is not that the Zambian player born in England is better than the player born in Zambia. No, that's not what we're trying to say here.
Yeah.
I want people to get me clear. It's an option. Okay. Yeah. So in case the right back in Zambia, the one who plays from Kana or Power, is injured, you've got another option here. Okay, there are players like Nathan Sinkala. He came from Green Buffaloes and he made Yaya Toure quiet. Yaya Toure was quiet in the whole game. So here we're talking about having options. Okay, so there are these boys now that were being born here. Look, these youngsters I've just mentioned, right? These boys will end up playing for England. And don't blame their parents. I repeat, don't blame their parents. If you and me, all the Zambians in the UK, if you're not supporting this movement, we're going to see an influx of Zambian kids, and tomorrow they will end up playing for European countries. So we have to set this nursery because these youngsters do not know anything about Zambia. And some of them, I have to be open. Some of them, they've got parents. Zambians. No, me, I don't talk to Zambians. There are those parents. Of course, this is reality, real talk. Yeah. And then there are those who are okay. Yeah. So those who say don't talk to Zambians, if you don't catch their kids, they will not be interested. And it's the reality that a developed country like England, or Spain, or France, they've got the facilities. Right? They've got the money, they've got everything, and they'll grab your kids. So to me, I set that up because of that purpose. I just like a coordinator. The people that really are behind it are the Zambians born here. Okay, the likes of Chilufyakayenga, Muila, Chabala, Vanake, Mrs. Mapongo. That's right. And Mwenyamulenga. We've got Fred Mwananshu, Ninja, who they call Ninja. So we've got all these youngsters who are born here. Okay, who are grown up now. They are ready to spearhead this. So we are appealing to Mr. Keith Mwemba, the current Football Association of Zambia president. Congratulations, sir. To like to say, Mr. Keith Mwemba, tomorrow we are the same people that will be saying, Chinode's son, England. We have to work together. Okay, so we want to work with FAS, work with the Zambian community. That's the whole purpose of that. And again, we set up the Zambian community football away from that to get people together. Football is a sport. Today in the Zambian community in the UK, sometimes I laugh with joy. I laugh with joy because I see so many friends. Like I can tell Gilbert Tembo and Kapasa, you guys met at the football. Okay, I can tell Ninja and Chuanga and Garth, they met at the football. Of course, I can point out a lot of people that they can start saying, hey, I'm chilling with this friend, Ninja and James in Sheffield. There's a nice boy called James Nsonda. James Nsonda and Mr. Fred now are both Happy Meals. These kids who've eaten McDonald's Happy Meals. That's where I ride the Big Mac. These Happy Meals, they've connected to each other. Look at Zambia UK FC, the one today. Okay, look at the way these young people have started knowing each other. So it's not just football. It's also, we play the football. Then after the football, we get to know each other. Okay, so that's what I'm just going to say about the community football, that it's for those purposes.
Nice. Of course, you are also an MC, and you've been involved in a number of Zambia UK Independence celebrations. Why do you think they've been a success in general?
Yeah, they have been. The Zambian Independence go back from the 90s. It's always been a big celebration in the UK. It just used to be a DJ, John Chinode. To crack some jokes. For John Chinode, that's how it was. We were the JKs, the Dannies, the Petersons, the Robertos, the Yomaps of those days. There was nothing. Then I remember my friend came into the UK in 98, 99. You know him, Mr. Nasty D. Okay, Davis Ngoma. So Davis came. I think that's the first Zambian artist I saw here. He did Bombasa, and then me, I'll come and do some jokes. And I remember that's the D and me giving each other tips. And Mr. Obrika Sundays, Morgan Nkumbula of Midas Touch, Captain B, and they started bringing in the artists. I think the first artist they brought in was JK. Before that, Justine, I think, brought in from Zambia. So then Independence now became about not just celebrating, but we're using it as a platform to also promote Zambian musicians. So, it became like that. And I think today it's still like that, where it's, which I think it's the right thing, because our musicians, I remember speaking to Bangweta Taitu, telling me how much musicians struggle in Zambia just to come up with an album. So I think if we bring them here and, they earn something good money. If they go back home, they're able to probably even support other artists. So I think it's a good thing. The independence in the UK, it's always been about celebration. I think it's this thing which I see. You can see the importance of independence. You can see the importance of our ancestral spirits. That independence, sometimes there's this. What I say to you, Zambians. I don't hang around with Zambians. But some of them turn up for independence. Some of them do call me to say, with their fake British accent. With my fake British accent. Some of them, they want some British, but you can hear the Chihuahua. Or Kalembula to even from Canada to make a British accent. They okay, please have my independence. Some of them, they come for independence. But, so just know that it's a very important occasion in the UK. I think I've never celebrated independence in Zambia in a long time. So I don't know if there's a lot of patriotism the way they do it in the diaspora.
Okay, great. Another thing. What do you think about how the current government is performing?
Where? In the UK?
In Zambia.
Oh, in Zambia. Me, I live in the UK. Because you come up, I'm a journalist. That's what pass a proper report. No, I think, look, I can answer that in a short sentence. I just think what I read on social media is a total different experience to
being on the ground.
Yes, to being on the ground. So I wouldn't say much on that, but all I can say is the current government, they are good, they're okay. Like any other government, I think we've had the Patriotic Front, the Movement of Multi-Party Democracy, the United National Independence Party. I think to me, the most important thing is Zambia is going. Okay, there's always going to be politics. Okay? If I'm on the ground, that's when I'll come and poncer. That's when I'll come and say mine.
Because you've seen it.
Because I've seen it. But right now, I can only talk about. I've read so much about British politics. Here. But I just think, look, the most important thing is people who have divergent views. That's just a reality. To me, what I'll just say is, look, Zambia is still Zambia. And what Kaunda led in 1964, this is why when I meet you, when I first met you, I never asked you, what tribe are you? Which country, which part of Zambia are you from? And I only noticed that when I came to the UK, that a lot of African countries, I feel good in Zambia. Because a lot of African countries here, I've played with countries, I won't mention some of the names, where they tell me, oh, you're too friendly. You see, those guys, their tribe is like this. Really? What? Okay, that guy. So these are people from one country, African country. And some of them are your neighbors. And they don't talk to each other. They've got this problem. Then I see that in Zambia, we don't have that problem. Okay, so to me, so as long as that is going, then every government is good. And look, if we talk of government, every government plays a certain part. Okay, I think the way I look at the Zambia I left, okay, is the Kaunda government, we call it the white handkerchief. The white handkerchief united Zambians. The same tribalism, there was no tribalism. I think Kaunda did very well on that. To me, it's a very perfect thing because it's like I condemn racism. Okay, to me, if you tell me, can you marry a Muzungu, a British? Of course I can marry even a Mwenya, even Japanese mixed with Russian. Okay, why am I saying this? Because it's about an individual. Things like tribalism was good that Kaunda killed it. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say then. the MMD brought, is it free market economy? People started buying houses, government houses. Then we saw, I think, the other MMD, there were a few presidents after that. So I think it's a gradual process where I think the previous government has told they built the airport. I haven't been to Zambia. They built a stadium. So the current government, I think they're also going to play a certain part. But I'll be saying this is the fact that, look, there's no government that's going to deliver that dream. No, it's going to be, I think, every government, or if it's the same government, they'll change
one or two things.
No, they'll change one president. That president who comes, will come and change one or two things. He'll come and improve on something. You see, like, I was talking about who's this president, the other thing, Mwanawasa.
Yeah.
You see, so like Mwanawasa, what part did he play in our development? I think he brought some transparency.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need transparency. It's not everyone who's going to come and fix your infrastructure, your economy. No. Sometimes somebody will just bring maybe transparency.
Yeah.
Like somebody mentioned one time I was reading to say, when the former president was Minister of Health, Mr. Sata, that he didn't bring medicines just in hospitals. He never brought medicines, but he brought order.
Yeah.
Somebody says, so what sort of order? No, Chinode. But Satame nobody said to kit what tapari he used to get upset. Things like that.
Yeah.
So that's somebody who's that's his contribution. And I'm sure when he left, that system continued.
Yeah.
So I think Zambia, to the we don't quite Zambia. We can't complain. I think I can't complain from what I see. Zambia is a very peaceful country.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk all day and differ divergent views. But I just think, look, current government, previous governments, they've all played a part.
Yeah. Okay. No, Chinode, it's been great having you.
Thank you very much.
To end, do you have any message for Zambians living in the UK?
Message? What message do they have for me?
They'll have the message in the comments, maybe.
Now, all I can say is, Mwemena Zambia, Kamwamba Muligabotu, my name is Chinode Sengalumbu. They call me Chinode. Listen, I can just say, look, when Zambians in the UK, we live far away. Let's just all remember that we should be there for each other in good times and in bad times. And let's not gossip so much about ourselves. Let's just gossip on the 1st of July. I'll be calling a conference. We'll all be gossiping. I'm just joking. But I just think, look, the Zambian community in the UK were very strong. People say things like, hey, Zambians, Tamai Katana, Zambians, this, no. I just say, look, we're a very strong community, as Zambians. And if you're Zambian watching for the first time, you're new, please feel free to get in touch. We know a lot of Zambians in different towns.
Yeah.
So we're able to unite you. And lastly, I'd like to say, Zambians, support Zambian stuff. Yeah. Remember, support a lot of Zambian ongoing stuff. There's Peter here doing a fantastic podcast. There's Mr. Sean Penza doing Zambia Network. There's the Zambian Catholic UK, Zambian Overseas, Christian Association. So many Zambian organizations. There's the Zambian nurses as well here in the UK. So let's support these groups, because the message I'll have again is, sorry there, Peter, I would have to say, there's this thing I see about Zambians where I am Zambia Network or Zambia Fimo. Then you're Zambian nurses. When you have Zambian nurses, I don't come and support you. I just say, Peter, Zambia nurses, what do you think? I'm the one who owns Zambia. No, let's not behave like that. If it's Zambia nurses, Zambia Network, go there. Go online, go there. Zambia Catholic, go there. Because we all need people. Okay, so vice versa. So that's the only message I would say to Zambians. But Zambian UK, we are the best in the diaspora. America, for advice. America, South Africa, all these people are trying to consult us.
No, Chinode, thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe, do like, comment. It's been another interesting conversation. John Chinode we had. John, thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Let's bye for now.